welcome everybody. We're so excited to have you here tonight. We're excited to celebrate the incredible impact MTR has made in 2024 and to share our vision for an even brighter and future in 2025 and beyond. And we are absolutely thrilled to unveil the results of our brand refresh initiative, a reflection of the heart, growth, and evolution of MTR. Before we begin with introductions, I want to take a moment to acknowledge a profound loss within our MTR family. Last week, we said goodbye to a truly beloved member of our community, Alan Simpson. Alan embodied everything that makes MTR so special: kindness, selflessness, and a deep commitment to making a difference. Though we feel his absence, we also know that his spirit will live on in every act of love and service that takes place here at the farm. Alan's legacy is woven into the fabric of this community, and we will continue to honor him throughout the work we do every day. To each and every one of you, thank you. Thank you for believing in the healing power of horses, for your dedication to our mission, and for the kindness and compassion you bring to this community every day. MTR is what it is because of each of you. Now, I'd love to introduce our presenters tonight, the MTR leadership staff. My name is Kelly Rogers, and I am honored to serve as MTR's Executive Director. My journey here began in 2008 as Program Director, and then in 2020, I stepped into the Executive Director position. I'm a PATH Master Certified Instructor, a Para-Dressage Coach, and a GALA Certified Equine Specialist. My heart is deeply rooted in the transformative power of equine assisted services. But more than anything, I am grateful beyond words to work alongside the most dedicated, talented, and passionate team, our board of directors, leadership team, support staff, providers, volunteers, donors, and families, all who make this mission a reality every single day.
I'm Lindsay. I'm the program manager, and I've been teaching therapeutic riding lessons for nearly 16 years in Florida and in Hawaii, but my heart is at MTR. I love it. I have never felt so supported professionally and personally. I am a PATH advanced instructor and an EGALA certified equine specialist, and I'm going for my master's certification. But I'm honored to be a part of MTR.
I'll go ahead. I'm Jessica. I'm the operations manager. Like many of you on the call, I started here about, gosh, it was probably 12 years ago at this point, as a volunteer myself. Started out just volunteering on Saturdays while I was working full-time elsewhere, and then came on board part-time in a few different roles, then became certified as an instructor. I'm currently a PATH certified advanced instructor. And then I stepped into a full-time role. So I've been in a couple different full-time roles here, and now I'm really thrilled to be the operations manager. I'm also a certified equine specialist through EGALA.
I'm Katie Street. I'm the mental health programs manager. I'm a licensed mental health therapist and advanced certified instructor and EGALA certified mental health provider and equine specialist. I started as a volunteer as well in 2009. Very quickly became an instructor. I've had a lot of different jobs here. I was the first full-time volunteer manager. I was a head instructor. I was the program manager.
Done it all.
So I found my home, and couldn't imagine a better place, group of animals or people to be working with. So super happy to be here.
I'm Lisa Zaring. I am the donor engagement manager here at MTR. I actually work on a part-time basis, so I'm here Monday through Wednesday and work with events and fundraising and the gamut. I've been here for about 2.5 years now, and just also recently got my certification from EGALA as an equine specialist as well.
So 2024 was pretty exciting year. We had lots of partnerships, so which we will talk about later. But we were really proud to have expanded our our programs in a very creative way. Need let in one more person. Some of the notable things that happened last year was Splash winning the Pennsylvania Therapy Horse of the Year. And it was incredible to be able to give that to him. In this work, we talk a lot about the connections that we have with each other, but then also the connections that we have with the animals. I mean, we're cool, but the horses are cool. The horses are what brings us all together. And it is that horse-human connection that really gives us initiative, and it gives us our passion. It's what connects us all. Like Kelly said, like we leave everything out at that gate and come in here and be with the horses. So to go and take Splash to Pennsylvania at a horse show where he had just been retired from mounted work, and to take him for this honor really felt like it was such a cool way to thank him. How can you thank the horses for doing the things that they do, the incredible things that they do for the people? I have seen, I mean, we all have seen many times where horses ignore their natural instinct to respond or react differently for us than they do for the participants. And so how do you thank them for being that sensitive and that caring? And to take Splash there, it felt like it was just for him. And it was like truly a memory that just won't forget.
And he was strutting.
He knew exactly.
He knew he
it was
was
for
king of the
him.
show.
He was like, I got this. I'm ready. Thank you.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave the arena.
No, he didn't even want to
It's on
get
the
back
big
on.
screen TV.
He didn't want to get back on the trailer. He was like, for me. So the horse-human connection is what drives us. It's what helps us to be creative and thinking through that. Splash is newly retired from mounted work, but he has a full schedule because he's able to contribute to our unmounted programs of the equine assisted psychotherapy, but also our other activities in horsemanship that we do. So we have lots of different services that we're offering. And in 2024, we really took our 3 core programs and found ways to expand and to be creative and to bring more people in, which we will talk about partnerships later. But like truly, we feel that adaptive riding and horsemanship, adaptive riding is not just a pony ride. It is not something that they're just being led around. There is so much happening for that individual. We talk a lot about how a person who is maybe nonverbal and they have other therapies during the week, or whether and maybe they're in school, they are prompted for everything that they do sometimes. And for them to get on the back of a horse and control it with a little bit of their body movement, suddenly they have agency, they have voice, they have confidence, they feel that their actions mean something. To a horse that doesn't operate on our social rules, they don't follow the same cues as we do, but yet how cool is it that I get to tell this horse where to go? And it's a similar thing when you shift into the barn. It's not just brushing. There is so much happening for that participant. A cool story is we had a group from a school come, and one of the participants was going to do unmounted activities in the barn. And this was with a horse that was kind of moving his feet a lot in the cross tie, not quite settled, not quite focused. And so he worked with the horse to calm down using horsemanship skills and brushing. And the horse calmed down. The horse took some big deep breaths after he took big deep breaths and got everybody really calm. And I go, that was pretty cool. What do you think the horse was feeling? And he said, that's okay. She can communicate gently. And I'm like, that's it. Yes, she is allowed to communicate, but she has to communicate the way that you need her to. And you guys were working together. That's what's happening in the horsemanship. They feel connection by holding that lead rope, and they feel that their body language means something to a horse, again, that doesn't operate on the same social rules as we do, but they have agency, they have power, they have connection. And those similar things can happen in OTPT and speech, where it's the same clinical classroom settings that they have, but yet we're doing it on Peekaboo and we are getting stronger on Peekaboo. And Fluffy is helping us to get stronger and more coordinated. And Chip is helping them to invite somebody to sit with them at lunch because they have speech fluency now. There's just so much more impact that's happening within that 45-minute lesson or session. Real quick, I know I just tell too many stories. But
No,
I
never.
just took the goats to a preschool, and one of our participants' moms was at the preschool. And so we're talking to some of the students that was there, was at Johns Hopkins University. And the mom was there talking about how her son speaks more. He has more expressive and receptive language for days after he rides here for speech. And that is that's what it boils down to, is how is it impacting their life away and out of the arena? That's the stories that we love to hear. Well, I'll let Katie so for looking ahead in 2025, we want to continue to be creative in that capacity. A lot of our participants, they start at age 2 all the way through, like sometimes 96. Our coolest story was a participant who was 101. So we want to continue to be creative in those offerings and see as many diagnoses to help individuals with different disabilities come and gain strength and confidence and get that horse-human connection here.
Hmm. That's cool.
I love your stories.
I know. Never too many stories.
We for those of you who are volunteers in here and providers, these are, our daily programming, and we are busy. And try to see as many individuals as we possibly can. And that's really highlighted in our equine assisted psychotherapy or EAP services. In 2024, we provided 250 hours of service, but in that time we served 195 participants.
Wow.
So having that the work on the ground. So that is our one of our programs that's completely on the ground, and being able to work in with individuals and groups helps to just be able to reach so many people in a short amount of hours. So it's one of our smaller weekly services, but we're really proud of our ability to working with residential treatment centers and helping people meet their goals. I think seeing that working with that many people also highlights how powerful and successful the service is, that people are coming with the same kind of mental health treatment goals that they would in an office setting, and we're able to meet them and then transition. Some of them transition into our riding or horsemanship.
A lot of them.
Program, and it is another testament to the connection. That connection with horses, that it becomes their pathway to healing, but then also a part of their life and part of their everyday way to keep themselves healthy. It's just part of their wellness routine, which is really neat too. We can go another way. We expanded our reach in serving more people, but also taking this expertise in connecting horses and people on the ground to take something we were already doing. We've been doing Day on the Farm events or one-time events for many years, but we really capitalized on that expertise, how we have learned to make a one-day event really valuable and meaningful in building those connections between the horses and people. And so last year, we worked with 18 different partnerships and served 338 additional people. So those were not the same people in our weekly services. Additional on top of what we do weekly, 338 people. just we're so proud to be able to and to do that in a way that enlivened the staff, that it didn't no one felt burnt out.
No.
No.
And the horses really enjoyed it as well. It wasn't something that we felt like, we meet weekly to talk about what are we seeing in our herd, and what are they showing us, and where might we need to tweak things, and to be able to, with a lot of the unmounted work, be able to still tap into their healing power, and the connection that they have with us, and be able to serve. Some of these groups brought 30 plus people.
Mhm.
And so,
One group came 30 children with autism, and each of them had a one-on-one aide, plus their
60
school
people.
staff. It was pretty cool.
yeah. And so we worked really hard to tailor these events last year to really find out what did the individual group need, and be able to choose the service that we offer to match their goals.
Or
And-
services.
or services,
And it kind of
yes.
speaks to the collaborative efforts from the team also, is figuring out some of these groups would benefit from multiple different versions of what we have to offer. So working together to figure out what best serves them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One of my favorites was the Chrysalis House brought close to 30 people
Mhm.
Yeah.
as well. And we had groups running, one equine assisted psychotherapy, one EAP group, and then our holistic equine assisted learning services that are new in 2024 too, that we're going to be rolling out more in 2025. But just this way, you being able to even in doing horsemanship skills, think about mindfulness and wellness, and meet their goals, but in different ways. And with Fort Meade, we did something similar, and they were able. The comments were, self-care sometimes is an active being. So that time in EAP, there's a lot of being able to really kind of ground into the space and relax and have a peaceful moment. And then when we went over to HEAL, our holistic equine assisted learning, it was more of leading and brushing and doing, and that sometimes our self-care has to be active. And so to see the same goal, having a time for self-care, learning more about self-care, having a moment to take care of ourselves, that sometimes knowing when one activity or way of being is needed over another.
Bowman modeled that self-care so well that there were 7 horses in the arena with that many people in there, and he just flat lays down and took a full-on nap, and his ears were going, and his feet. He just was like, I'm doing my self-care right now.
Yeah.
But we do encourage you all, when you flip through this impact report and you see the numbers, many of you are here multiple days a week, a lot of you. And so you know what those regular weekly sessions look like. You know have an idea of the number of people that we are able to serve on a weekly basis. And so know that these numbers, the scene numbers in the hundreds, it's just pretty remarkable. I give so much credit to these two who have just really figured out how to be creative with their respective programs and being able to serve so many people on the ground. But it's just remarkable that our horses are making an impact on so many people because of this creativity.
Yeah. And it's great for 2025. A lot of these groups already have their dates scheduled, and have expanded from just a one-time event to a quarterly. But we have figured out a great way to utilize our resources in a way that doesn't tax them. So if you have a group that you think would be a great match for what we do for one-time events, send them our way. And please take a look at that list. There's some amazing organizations there, and we could spend the rest of our time telling you stories about each one.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that leads into our special services, the things that we're able to do, ranging from preschoolers all the way up to 90 6-year-olds who are coming from a nursing home. We did a few this year. In 2024, we did a few MTR on the road visits. Alan took some of the baby goats with me. And we were able to go to several different preschools for their Farm and Friends week, or they were talking about care of their pets. And so the baby goats went, and Abigail went, Daisy and Cassie went to a couple. Feels really good to be able to get out into the community with the little goats, they got work to do. They got work to do. And then it's nice to be able to see those preschoolers and then head up into the age range into our summer celebration week. And that's for those school-aged kids, our summer camp for riding. And they are doing riding and horsemanship. They're learning nutrition. They want to be eating lunch in the barn. They want to live here for that week, which is incredible to have them here. And then we were able to think more creatively over the last couple of years and reach individuals who may not have other activities through the summer. That's adults with disabilities. And so Life Skills was created to give them a week for them to be able to explore more ways that they can work with horses. The participants who were in Life Skills Week, this is their home. They had a collective, I think it was over 100 years of collective experience between all of them. And they've been here at MTR for 15, 20 or more years. And so they have a voice. They know what they're doing and they know why they love the horses that they do. So to give them a whole week where they heard from our farrier, they heard from our vet, who just won an award also, put a plug in there for her, Dr. Reams. She won an award because she went to the Life Skills Week and she contributed to educating our participants. And to see them love what they do here and love the horses that they work with. And they organized an open house. They showed people around this farm. It gave them so much confidence. And so we can't stop doing that. So we're going to continue that in 2025 and for years to come. This year they got a big project idea. Maybe I won't share that just yet. We'll have to keep that as a teaser. They got big plans. And to our Barn University, we were able to do several sessions this past year with exploring our current herd, or exploring ways that we train them and what makes a good equine partner. But then we also had guest speakers come. We had Dr. Reams come. We had an equine trainer come. We had the saddle fitter come. So it's exploring all these different ways that our horses are cared for so that they can support the mission here at MTR. This year, we have 8 guest speakers coming. Our next one it's actually next Friday, the 14th, and our Dr. Brittany Williamson, she is a sports medicine equine veterinarian. So she's coming to show us about ways that they diagnose lameness and how they treat it. We have the nutritionist coming. We have 2 different saddle fitters. We have the farrier. There's so much that we're going to be able to learn. And all of it is to be able to learn more about our equine partners, how we can help them to be healthy. Knowing about their toxicology is going to benefit how we take care of them. Knowing why they have to have hay stretcher or why they need our diet with more fat. All of those things are going to be really enriching for our herd. It provides a whole new level of understanding for them. So we can look at them out in the field and go, I can view this with non-interpretive language and go, Splash is laying down on the hill and Chip is facing the other direction to watch out for him. So it gives us a whole new perspective on their behavior and their training and their health. It makes a very well-rounded individual that understands our horses and what they're doing and how we care for them.
Yeah, just to follow up on that a little bit, it's another thing that we're really proud of, especially in the past year, and we'll touch on it some more a little bit later, but the culture of learning is that we are a team who is so quick to be okay with saying, I have no idea what that answer is, but we want to find out. And it's been really cool this past year in particular, being able to contact these professionals and have them be so excited to collaborate with us and see a team that really just values learning as much as we possibly possibly can. Some of it we can retain, some of it Lindsay and I joke that we probably call our vets more than any of their other clients between the two of us. Hang up, call back with a question we forgot to ask. But that's been a really special thing too. And so to have those professionals also want to come out and educate our community beyond just our team is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Just
Looking
real
forward.
quick, I want to just tell the story of Dr. Murphy and the incoming. There was a new incoming vet shadowing her, and she said they love their whys.
Yeah.
And that
So
we
it's
do.
well known to always do the what, how, and why.
Looking into 2025, we're actually adding one more special service week, and that is for our adults. It's our Adult Equestrian Skills Week, and that's for adults with disabilities who are looking for a summer camp. It's actually full already.
Yep.
It is we have our summer celebration for school-aged kids, and then we decided we need to give them something also. They're all adults. They all love riding. They all love their horses here. So it'll be another addition to the year that gives them another week to be at their home and be with the horses that they love.
Our volunteers, I saw you all signing in, so there's a lot of you here, which I love. You all are remarkable. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I think most of you probably know that we have just three full-time staff. Katie and Lisa may as well be full-time. We have the most amazing crew of support staff. We have incredible providers. But beyond that, it's really our volunteer community that allows us to do what we do. So in terms of numbers, in 2024, we had an average of just over 250 active volunteers. Some of those volunteers are here multiple times a week for several hours each shift. Seems like they basically live here. We joke that they should pull up a cot. And some of those volunteers come once a month. It's another cool thing that we've really kind of leaned into is that that everyone has a different schedule. Everyone has different commitments. And so having that requirement to come a certain number of hours a week or a month just was resulting in us losing fantastic volunteers. And so we always say, if you can come every day, wonderful. If you can come once a month, that's just as valuable. Of those volunteers, on any given week, we have over 300 volunteer assignments to fill. Which is, I'm looking at Pam right now, just seeing her face at that number. Saturdays alone, I think right now we have about 76 volunteer assignments to fill. So when you think about those numbers, and when you think back to what Lindsay was sharing about the number of participants that we serve, that really is possible because of you all. We were chit-chatting earlier, and Lindsay made a really cool point too, that our community right now is so mission driven, so passionate about making sure that we're able to provide the services, leaning into that growth mindset and really wanting to learn alongside us, coming to things like Barn University, eavesdropping on unmounted lessons and sessions to learn more. But I think that to us, you all leaning into how to better support the horses and programming, how to better support the participants, better support the providers is really impactful for everything that we do. But what is equally cool to me, and what will always probably be one of the most meaningful things to me being a part of this community, MTR, you all, is that sense of community that you all bring. It time and time again just blows me, I think it blows all of us away, how beautiful it is to see you all supporting each other through hard things, through amazing things. I, of course, when I started as a volunteer so many years ago, I fell in love with it, of course. And then I remember after the pandemic, I came back and felt emotional myself coming in, coming down the driveway that first time and feeling like it was healing for me. And that's all we've ever wanted for this community is you all come and give your time so selflessly to support our participants, take care of our horses, but we want it to be a place that feels equally healing for you all. So I'm just so grateful that you all do that for yourselves and each other, and frankly, us. A lot of times, the number of hugs that I've gotten from you all, good and supportive through hard and positive experiences, has meant the world to me too. So thank you all. Also want to highlight on this page something that you may or may not know that we support our service groups. So you can see a couple examples of the organizations that have come out. These are typically going to be single day projects. Come getting your hands dirty, helping out with facilities type things on the farm. It's another thing that we can do to be creative and serving the needs and the wants of the groups. But it's a really cool way for, if you are a part of an organization or your company and you're so passionate about what we do here, and maybe you're trying to spread the word, but you can't necessarily get your team to come out and come to orientation and hang out with me for a couple hours. This is another cool way to bring your teams out to kind of extend that reach. So we encourage you to think about mentioning it to the groups that you're a part of. Also one, I think she's on here. Another
Yes.
highlight of this year, is she? Did you see her?
Yeah.
Chris Powers.
She's gonna kill us.
I know, which is almost the best part of the whole thing. But want to give a huge shout out to Chris. She was the volunteer of the year for 2024 for Path Region 2. So that's a pretty big deal. Honored at the conference. And of course, we're so proud of all of our volunteers, but it's huge to be able to celebrate her in that way. So congrats to Chris. When we are looking to, you're rushing me.
Oh, sorry.
No. Looking to 2025, I think one of the things that we're excited to expand on a little bit more in terms of the volunteering is our ambassador events. We've spent a lot of time this year kind of figuring out where we can make the greatest impact, where our needs are. Again, having limited resources, making sure that we're utilizing those resources in a way that makes the most sense. And so we're excited this coming year to kind of dive back into those ambassador events and get our name out there and hopefully have more volunteers come join the team. Touch base with other potential participants, but really just get our name out there more. So if that's something that any of you used to do or interested in learning how to be a part of, please touch base.
We're going to talk a little more about the culture of learning at MTR. It's something that we are all so proud of, and we live it every single day here on the farm, and committed to it, committed to lifelong learning. We're never going to stop learning, especially with horses. So we believe that intentional professional development not only strengthens our organization, but also delivers the highest quality of services to our participants. And we're just, we approach everything with curiosity and wanting to learn more. And I think this year in particular, we've seen that extend beyond just the staff and our providers, but also our volunteers. And we're so excited that we're able to provide additional educational opportunities and learning opportunities. And we hope to continue to expand that in the future as well.
Can I jump in really quickly though? So Kelly didn't know that we wrote this article until she started reading it, and there's a big section in here about her. Because we can't have a culture of learning unless she sets it up for us, and she has modeled it for us. She's been a go-getter since before she could walk, I'm certain. But in her professional life, she's been a go-getter from the very beginning. And so her continuing her own growth, but also setting the example and modeling that for us. I wouldn't be doing this journey and trying to get my master's if it wasn't for her. She's to me, she is that voice that is there all the time. I love it when she comes into the arena because she will reassure me, validate me, but also challenge me like a good mentor always will. And so we can't grow unless she's modeling it for us. So she didn't know that we were going to add that in there, but we definitely did.
Well, and done with so much humility. I think that's the something that's so special and not always present in people who have the level of expertise that Kelly does. And there's no limit to it. She just keeps growing and just keeps growing us. But we all are so exactly so excited when she walks into the arena, but it's never with an air of thinking that she's better than anyone else. It's done knowing that we all have something to learn from each other.
Did I tell you she was giving me a horseback riding lesson? She was giving me a lesson, and she goes, "I think you need to drop your stirrups one hole." And I go, "Oh, I do." She goes, "Unless you want your knees to be pinched." That's the kind of like truthful, honest knowing that she's gonna bring.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm extremely red and uncomfortable right now.
And I'll just say also, for those of you that are on that are like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to read this article on the screen at this moment, before we move on, we will be sending out a link for the impact report. So what you're seeing us going through, the magazine that we're going through, we will be sending a link of that out. So you'll be able to peruse it longer and see all of the great information that you're hearing tonight.
And just one more, just touching on that culture of learning a little bit more. I think sometimes you can think of it as like as a trickle down, but I also think it's kind of a domino spider web. So Kelly is setting that example for us. And then Lindsay has her instructors in training and her instructor team, and modeling the fact that Lindsay also has the credentials and the education that she has and models that for us as instructors. Then hopefully we can go into the arena with our volunteer teams and show our volunteers that we don't know it all the time. So of course we don't expect you to know everything, and want you to be curious. And then for our volunteers to be able to model that for our participants, and to just show that no matter what role you're in, what position you are, how much you know, how much you have to learn, we're all learning and we're all growing. And so and I think that even then impacts the care of the horses. You know, there's no egos when it comes to what we are doing to support our horses and programs and outside in terms of their care. And so it's just another thing that we're really grateful to be a part of, and really grateful that you all jump on board with that with us.
Thanks, Jessica. So by the numbers, we had a good year financially, and we are in a very healthy position financially. We have zero debt. We paid off the mortgage in 2023, so we are strong. We work very diligently to keep expenses down, and I commend the staff for all they do to cut expenses or find something, a discount on something, or ask for a donation. Every little action in that way to help with expenses, it makes a huge impact on our bottom line. So really grateful to the hard work of all of those running this operation, which is a lot between facility stuff, horses. There's always something breaking. There's a lot that goes into it, and I'm just incredibly proud that even with rising expenses, we were able to have a good year, and we were able to put money into more capital improvements like our insulation that's getting done and footing that's happening, and really grateful to all of those that support us and know the importance of donations and keeping our barn doors open because of them.
Yeah, and you can see that in those revenue numbers, just the gratitude that we have for our donors. And this kind of leads into the next couple of pages, but if you see those by the number, the restricted development income and the unrestricted development and special event income really has made a huge difference for MTR. So, and I know basically whether you're a volunteer or a donor, our volunteers have been some of our most amazing supporters in so many ways, not just with their time, but also financially and with in-kind gift giving to us to help us along the way. So a lot of those, as far as the expenses, such a huge help. So thank you. Just wanted to point that out before we get to the next page. So the next page is talking about our year with development, and we had a great year. It was, everything in development is a little bit of a roller coaster at times, and you just aren't sure what you're going to get until you get there. So I really am so grateful and thankful for the donors that have supported us this year. We've had just some amazing people who have supported us through sponsorships. We have our annual sponsorship program, which in 2024 we had 2 corporate sponsors that also had repeated from 2023. So we were very grateful for Sherwood Logan and COPT Defense Properties for their support last year. And this year we're continuing to look for additional annual sponsorships, whether it's corporate sponsorships or family sponsorships for that annual sponsorship program, which gives you a presence on the farm year round. So we've got banners that are in our arena, and then at all of our events throughout the year, they're highlighted and on our website and so forth. So just really grateful for that sponsorship program and what it has given us the ability to do within those different programs. And then, of course, we've got our event sponsorships. We had 3 events last year, our Bourbon and Blossoms Spring Soiree, which was our first year of offering that event, and it was a huge success. So we're excited. We're actually in the midst of planning 2025's Bourbon and Blossoms, which is going to take place on May 10th this year. So we hope everybody will be able to join us for that. We're looking for sponsorships for that event, and tickets are available. We've got advertising opportunities. So those events are not only just an opportunity to raise funds for the farm, but just an opportunity for us to show the farm off to these different people who may not normally come to the farm. They may be guests of a sponsor or whatnot. So it's just great to have everyone out to the farm and kind of have their eyes when they come down that driveway, and just always amazed by how much of a difference just that little drive down the driveway can do. And of course, we've got our Hoedown on the Farm event in October that is such a great family event. So to see the kids running around and just having a great time, it means so much to us. So we also have other areas of fundraising that we've got. We've got our Horse Champion sponsorships. The Horse Champions, it's basically a sponsorship of one of our equine partners, and that just helps to cover all the expenses for that equine partner, both with their feed, with their health care, and any additional expenses that may come up with them. And those individuals, a huge help to offset those expenses, which can be sometimes extremely large because horses like to get hurt. So it's a huge help, and there's different levels of that Horse Champions that are available. And we've got some horses that still need champions. So if that's something of interest of you, definitely let us know. We also had some amazing grantors last year, many of whom, and actually as I'm looking at the list, every single one of those grantors has been repeat grantors for our organization. So realistically, the funding that we're able to do through these different organizations and companies makes such a big difference as well for us to continue to be able to do the things that we do for the participants that we reach. But what is not listed there, because it would be hundreds of names, is the special thanks that we really have to give to everybody that has given even $1. We've got our stall fundraisers that happen seasonally here. That's basically a $5 donation, and you can put a little sign on the horse's stall that you'd like to give special shout out to. And up and through, sponsorships, donations, through individuals, through groups. We've got in-kind donations. We just had somebody today who came in. Their daughter was a volunteer years ago at MTR, and the father came in and donated her old saddle, and she's now a vet in another state. So, so just cool in so many different ways that people have given back to MTR. So, to all of you on this call, I know you're probably a part of that list. So, we thank you very, very much for that.
What was the catalyst for changing our brand? Well, we have had the same logo and colors since we were founded in 1996. As you can see, the red and blue. And not only has MTR changed as an organization, I mean, we have evolved so much from offering when we started just therapeutic riding to then adding on physical, speech, and occupational therapy, then adding on equine assisted psychotherapy, and now, as you can see throughout this report, so much more. Horsemanship with special programs, special services. We are doing so much more than just therapeutic riding. So also within the industry, there's a lot of updates to terminology and making sure that we're using correct language to differentiate between the services. So you'll see we've slowly integrated that instead of therapeutic riding, we're using adaptive riding. And that way, the reason for that is we can really differentiate between adaptive riding, which is more of an activity, to physical, occupational, and speech therapy or equine assisted psychotherapy. So we we love and I'm going to introduce Amanda Gluck, who worked with us on our brand refresh, but we wanted to stay true to the heart of MTR. And she'll talk more on it, but it was overwhelmingly strong opinions that the horse and the heart need to stay, and that includes the staff. We felt that way too. But we went in really open. We really wanted to hear the feedback from our community and see where it brought us. And I think we're thrilled with where it's at, and I hope that you guys will be too. So without further ado, I will introduce Amanda Gluck. She is from Bite Size Communications. All right. Is everybody ready? We had it so
You're all
dramatic,
muted, so we
too.
can't hear your reactions.
Give us a thumbs up, everybody, if you're all good.
Yay.
Amanda, would you go ahead and talk about the process of our brand refresh?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It has been a journey so far, but it has been a really great journey. So I initially started working with the leadership team in, I guess, late October of this year. And they came to me with the intention of let's discuss it. There was no guarantee of actually changing the logo. There was no, one of the things that I always say is don't change it just to change it. So we did our homework. We did a lot of research. I have a partner who we came on site beginning of November, and we had a brand strategy session. We all sat around and did some exercises, really pushing the leadership team on, what do they feel like their mission is? Is that still something that works? The vision of the organization and then the core values. Again, we weren't going to change anything just to change anything. We also did discuss the potential for a logo, but we heard a few things not to touch, which we were very respectful of. So one of the really great things that I feel like we got out of that brand strategy session was a really great feel for MTR as an organization. I think this leadership team, as all of you guys can probably agree, is super strong, is super connected. And I don't think, a lot of the other organizations that I work with, they don't have this kind of leadership team and this organization. Um, so that was kind of the impetus of everything was this brand strategy session. We came up with some amazing core values, which I believe the ladies will go over. We updated the mission slightly, and then we also updated the vision as well. The difference between the mission and the vision is really the mission is kind of all encompassing, and the vision is what's going to take them into the future. Um, so we did a cool little post-it exercise. It all came together. And then one of the other things that we did after that was we wanted to make sure that we weren't just hearing from the leadership team who are so in the weeds every day. So we actually did perception interviews. Some of your names look familiar because I did interview you. I think we did 6 or 7 groups of people. It was made up of current staff. It's made up of some board members, some volunteers, some participants' parents, some industry connections. So we really wanted to get a good range of who we were talking to. Um, and so I created a learning report that kind of touched on some of these key areas. And what was really interesting was that the overwhelming sense of community that everybody has for MTR was something that I've never seen before. Um, Also, one of the things that I learned was that Maryland therapeutic riding is a mouthful. And so everybody who I spoke to was calling it MTR. And so we were thinking, to have to change your organization name, which we did potentially explore, you'd have to go through all this paperwork. And so we were thinking, okay, why don't we just keep your Maryland Therapeutic Riding as your overarching organization, but go with MTR? And I think what people were holding on to with the Maryland Therapeutic Riding was that when people saw that name, it prompted them to ask questions. So we were thinking, what can we do to still have people ask those questions, but get a better idea of what you guys actually do? Because I did hear the therapeutic riding was a little bit outdated, using adaptive, but without putting adaptive in there because it didn't fully fit all the holes either. Um, so we were looking at the domain name, which is the current website name, and it's horsesthatheal.org. We were like, oh, that is actually very impactful. Why don't we make Horses That Heal actually use that as something you guys are already doing, integrate that in as a tagline to go with MTR? So that was kind of how we went with that. We had quite a few iterations of the logo. Um, and I've got to say, I've got to really give to these ladies. They know exactly what they want. And it is very clear. So they didn't want a couple things. We did that. We tried to take them a little bit outside their comfort zone. And we did progress it a little bit farther. So it is not much of a difference in terms of the logo that they had before. But if you'll notice, the tail has a little bit more movement than the one that they had before. And we also opened up the heart and made it a little bit more sturdy. We felt like the initial heart was very thin and it wasn't holding up to any sort of text that would go with it. So just little tweaks make such a big difference in this case. Um, and then we did shift colors a little bit. I did hear a lot about don't change the red, don't change the red, don't change the blue. But when we first kind of came on site, that was one of the things that we questioned because you come on to the MTR campus and you are surrounded by these really lovely greens. and these nature like burnt orange and these more like nature colors. And then when you see the blue and the red that are a little bit more primary, it just didn't lend itself to be able to fit. So we shifted that just a little bit. We went to more of a rich navy. We went to more of a maroon color. We have like a hunter green in there. And we have some secondary colors that we can kind of go into the mix as well. And I've got to say, I loved how they have been integrated into the annual report or the impact report, which I'm sure nobody really noticed. But when I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, I love this already." So one of the things that the group gets out of when we did the logo, when we did the messaging, the mission, vision, values, is something called a brand guide. And this brand guide has everything in terms of your key messaging. It has all of your color schemes. Um, it has what not to do with your logo, how not to stretch it, different use cases for different things. It has text, it has your primary text, your subtext, your kind of a script text. And so this really creates the foundation for them to be able to carry into their materials, into all of the things that that is around the community now, and things that are going out on social media. So it really gives them this strong foundation, which I really love. And I've already been seeing them use some of it very subtly. Um, but I think it looks great. Um, what that brand guide also does is enables us to go into the website. The website has been something that I think a good website is really able to show your capabilities in a way that is really impactful. And so we are taking that messaging, we are taking the mission, we are taking the vision, we are taking the fonts, and we're taking the new logos, and we are going to transform their website into something that is more visually appealing, more visually pleasing, more in line with who they are as an organization, as opposed to it feeling a little bit abrupt and maybe not having the correct or the best front end experience for users. So we just shifted into website design. We expect that to take about 2 or 3 months. We just came up with a new sitemap. And the sitemap really goes over what pages that they need. What pages can we kind of roll into each other? What pages do we need new of? So we went through that process, and it's been such an exciting project so far. The care and attention that I think these ladies bring to the organization, you just can't deny that. And so I'm really happy to be able to bring that to life visually, both with a tweaked logo and the new website that will be coming down the pike.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
Yeah,
Amanda,
thank you.
and her partner Maria that worked with us as well have just been wonderful to work with and patient with us. And we're so thankful and excited for this to continue. So let's share our new mission and vision. So our mission to transform lives by connecting humans and horses in a nurturing environment, fostering healing and growth for all. And our vision to be a leading provider of innovative equine assisted services while building a compassionate community that celebrates the transformative power of the human and horse connection. And we're also going to share our core values.
So you all will see, so for all of our core values, we have a shortened version of them. So as I'm reading, as the team is reading, you'll be able to read those shortened versions on the screen. But we're going to go ahead and read the longer version too, so that you all can hear what that's about. So the first one is intentionality. Intentionality shapes all that we do. It's about thoughtfully designing programs, choosing horses that are not only intelligent and tolerant, but also attuned to the diverse needs of our participants, and creating a supportive environment that adapts to each individual's journey. Every interaction, from how our team connects with each other in the community to the care given to the herd, is carried out with a deep sense of purpose, fostering growth, healing, and well-being.
And then the next one is commitment to growth. We deeply value and actively encourage growth in all aspects of our work. Through curiosity and creativity, we regularly assess our techniques, learn from each experience, and remain open to new approaches that enhance our impact. This growth mindset extends to continuous professional development for our team, staff, providers, volunteers, and caregivers, making sure they have the skills and the knowledge to provide exceptional support, creating a ripple effect that strengthens our entire community.
And then we have connection. At the heart of our mission is connection. We prioritize building trusting and meaningful relationships between participants and our equine partners, as well as among our broader community of volunteers, staff, corporate partnerships, and supporters. By creating a welcoming space where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued, we nurture bonds that facilitate emotional healing, personal growth, and confidence building.
And harmony. Our approach is rooted in a harmonious connection between people, horses, and our environment. We cultivate an atmosphere that invites individuals to find peace in the outdoors and experience the calming, restorative effects of our grounds. Horses play an essential role in teaching compassion, patience, and mindfulness, enriching the experience. By embracing our environment in everything we do, we offer a holistic experience that nurtures mental, emotional, and physical resilience.
So as you guys know, we live by our core values, and we live them and act with them every day. And each year we choose a theme of one of our core values, and last year was service. And this year is going to be intentionality. So we are excited to embrace that theme for the year, or word of the year. So what's next with the branding? As Amanda said, we're working on the website redesign now. That's going to be a big undertaking, but is going to make a huge difference once that's up and running. So we hope to have that by the summer 2025. We are also putting together a new merch site where you can go on and order things. It'll be a different company than the one we currently have, with hopefully more options for everybody. So we'll have new gear. We are going to order a ton of t-shirts for everybody. So that is in our future, and just slowly start implementing and transitioning to our refresh. As you know, we have our arena renovations in process now. We have a vapor and wind barrier going into the arena, and we have fresh footing coming next week. So we're really excited to make those capital improvements. And we are in the process of finishing the MTR master plan. So our final master plan for the future of this property, and we dreamed big, and we have very ambitious goals, but I feel confident that together we will reach them. So stay tuned for more exciting things to come. It's going to be a really big year for us. So before I have to do a little plug. You got to come to Bourbon and Blossoms. It's so fun. We were so happy to launch this new event last year. And I think if anybody really knows me, you know events aren't my thing. But I got to tell you, this event is so fun. So between this and Hoedown, I feel like we've really brought more of the mission into our events too, which makes me really proud. So get your tickets. It's going to be a great night on the farm. Hopefully beautiful spring weather, and all in support of our mission. So before we end, do we have any questions?
We need to unmute.
Oh yeah, I guess we better unmute people if they.
think you will be able to do that too. You also can add questions into the chat if you want to.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Can we wear our old merch?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
A lot.
Vintage
It's
now.
now vintage.
Yes.
Like
The OG.
That was
gray. It's like a really nice thin. It's good for summer because it gives you a little protection.
yeah, no, please continue. That's totally fine.
Okay, cool.
You're gonna want some of these new colors though they're coming out with. Really nice.
Yep.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah,
hold,
now,
hold
when
on.
you guys are reviewing the impact report, take a good look. You'll see all those beautiful colors.
The
Yeah,
fonts.
the fonts.
All the fonts for the new fonts. All the colors for the new colors.
That's fun.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. This place is what it is because of all of you, your passion, your commitment to this mission. And we're so excited for another great year with all of you.
Thank you so much for all you guys have done.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Michelle.
Michelle.
All right, with
Makes
that,
it
we'll go
nice.
ahead and say goodnight and keep an eye out in your email for the link to the report so you can review it.
So say bye, Mama.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Mama.
Bye.
Mama.
Oh.
That was
She
adorable.
was the cutest.
Whose baby was that? Cute.
Thank you all so much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, thank
night.
you.
Bye.